Don't mind me, I'm just laying down by the fire. But really, we're about to do something that will improve access to your range of motion. We're talking about, remember, capsular restriction, the thing that stops your shoulder from being able to do this, which is internal rotation. Okay? We are going to lay on our side, head on a pillow or a yoga block, something that keeps you off the ground about that shoulder distance. You're going to find the edge of your shoulder blade on the ground, right? You should feel kind of that bony press. The reason that that's so important is we don't want to feel ourselves doing this and kind of cheating where that shoulder blade lifts up and we don't actually get the stretch that we're looking for. So similarly with our hip internal rotation, this stuff takes patience because you're going to be down here in this stretch for 2 minutes. All right? So why don't we just get started, get straight into it. So find that shoulder blade. Let's go thumb up, back of your hand facing the camera or obviously away from you. You are going to take your hand and press on your forearm, not your wrist, and drive that forearm down to the ground. The ground is not the goal, the stretch is the goal. Okay, 2-minute timer is on. It's on the clock, on the screen, right? We are driving that wrist and fist down towards the ground without letting our shoulder blade creep up towards our ear. So now we're taking that stuff that's between your shoulder blade and your humerus, there's nothing funny about it, and stretching it out a little bit. Because again, your body is going to take back any space that you don't tell it regularly that you need, okay? And you may find, even just after doing our rib cage stuff, that this gets better. That doesn't necessarily mean that this is unnecessary. What it does mean is that you gained access to the passive range of motion component, which is great. We still want to train that tissue so that it gets strong, because tissue that's weak is tissue that breaks, right? We're trying to mitigate the risk of injury by improving access to range of motion and strength training it. So that's where passive stretching doesn't necessarily do that. It just gives you little by little creeping access to that range of motion, but it doesn't back it up at all. So we want to make sure that as we do this, we are getting that tissue higher quality so that it's less likely to even partially tear when our kid jumps and hangs on our arm. My son has just body slammed me in a position like this before, and my arm like slammed into the ground, and I was like, oh my gosh, oh no, and everything was fine because I've trained this stuff to happen, or to have access to that. If you're somebody who does jiu-jitsu, you might recognize this position, and strength training this position means it's harder to submit you in this position. So double bonus for the jits people, right? So now our PAILs is going to be squeezing up into we're going to call this our control arm. I am trying to fight myself out of this. I am squeezing the deep shoulder stuff to try to accomplish this. I'm pushing up as I do this. Notice I'm not coming out of position. Again, we're talking isometrics. I'm just squeezing. I'm ramping up that intensity, 10% to 20, 20 to 40, 40 to 60, 60 to 80. If this is painful, don't go above 15 to 20% and just hold, because you are also reinforcing quality tissue. Force is how tissue remodels. If you have an injury, putting force through tissue tells that tissue how to remodel. And yes, I've been talking for a long time because I want you to squeeze that stuff for a while. All right, we're holding for 10 more seconds. 9, 8, 7. At the end of this, we're going to take a breath and we're going to squeeze the front side shoulder stuff. We're going to try to, without help of our control arm, push our hand down towards the ground. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Big breath into our ribs and down. Ooh, if you remove that hand, it doesn't move. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Slowly release. Notice I sunk a little bit deeper. That's great. It's also going to make the stretch a little bit more intense. That's also good. It just becomes, let's say the alarm bell becomes louder. because your brain's like, please don't break me off. I should have had Donna do this because she's been struggling with her shoulder recently. Breathe and relax. We're hanging out for 15 to 20 seconds. All right, we're going to go again, starting to fight our way up, because don't come out in between, because we want to train at the end of that available range of motion. We're going to start pushing 10 to 20, 20 to 40, 40 to 60, 60 to 80, and your greatest, safest effort. Squeeze and hold for 10 seconds. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Big breath and down. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Slowly release. Oh my gosh, that's just intense. Even after all these years of doing this, still intense. So a couple quick notes. You can adjust torso position to find the best possible stretch for you. You just don't want to, like, if you're all the way out, you kind of miss some of the good stuff. And if you're too far in, you might find that you're stopping really, really short, which is okay. You got to find your line of tension. Don't try to replicate the exact position that I'm in. Think about the intent. Because if I change my position significantly, you can see that range of motion isn't the same as if I lay back. If I lay back, I'm going almost to the ground. You are absolutely going to want to follow this with shoulder cars, because you probably did them going into this. You want to be doing them out of it, because you'll also, not only will the soreness be less, but you'll also find what that new range of motion is and how your body's responded to what we just did. All right? Repeat it on the other side. Even if you don't necessarily think you have a need for it, your left shoulder is going to love this too. And we need strong shoulders on both sides of our body, not just the side that's most restricted. All right? Enjoy.